The question is, how is connective tissue classified? So the connective tissue is divided into three main types. That is the connective tissue proper, which is the binding tissue. Next one is the skeletal tissue, which is the supporting tissue. And the third one is the vascular or fluid tissue, that is the transporting tissue. First, let's write about the connective tissue proper. And this connective tissue proper is of two types. The first one is the loose connective tissue. In this loose connective tissue, there will be very less fibers and they will be having more amount of matrix. The example of such loose connective tissue is areolar connective tissue and the adipose tissue. The another connective tissue proper that we have is the dense connective tissue, and this dense connective tissue is going to have more amount of fibers and less amount of matrix, and the examples of dense connective tissue is going to be the ligaments and the tendons. So here we have loose connective tissue, that is the adipose tissue and the areolar connective tissue. So here we can see this adipose tissue is nothing but the fat storing connective tissue, and the fat is stored in the cells called as adipocyte. When we talk about the location of this adipose tissue, we find it below the skin as subcutaneous fat. We can also find them between the internal organs and around our blood vessels and kidney. The next one is areolar connective tissue, and this is the basic tissue which is most widely distributed connective tissue, and in this you will find fibers are very loosely arranged and they are making a meshwork. The matrix that is present is jelly like and it will contain four types of cell, and it will also have three types of fibers in it. This areolar connective tissue is found below the skin, in the kidneys and testes, and it is going to surround the muscle bundles and also the blood vessels. Next is the dense connective tissue. So we have two dense connective tissue. First one is tendon and another one is ligament. So the tendons are those dense fibrous connective tissue which are mainly composed of the collagen fiber, and the work of this tendon is to connect muscles to bones. Whereas when we talk about ligament, it is also a type of dense connective tissues. Again, it is made with the same thing, that is the collagen fiber, but they are often more elastic as compared to the tendons, and their work is to connect the bones to other bones. The next one that we have is the skeletal tissue or the supporting tissue, which is going to comprise of two things, that is cartilage and bone. When we talk about this cartilage and bone, this is going to form the entire framework of our body. When we talk about the tissue, specifically cartilage, this is going to be made up of a dense matrix, but it is also elastic in nature due to presence of a special protein called as chondrin, and the cells which are present in this cartilage are called as chondrocytes. The location of this cartilage is in our epiglottis, larynx, tracheal ring, nasal septum, and our ear pinna. The next one that we have is the bone. Bone, as we know, is very hard and rigid. It is non-flexible skeletal tissue, and the matrix of the bone is very hard because of a collagenous protein called as osine, and it also has presence of certain salts like phosphate and carbonates of calcium. Now, this is going to form the entire skeleton in the vertebrates, and it is going to protect the internal organ as well as it is going to help in the locomotion. The last type of connective tissue that we have is the vascular or fluid connective tissue. This is the transporting tissue, and this transporting tissue consists of blood and lymph, and both of their matrix is going to be fluid in nature. When we talk about blood, blood is bright red in color, and it is a fluid connective tissue which is consisting of plasma and some blood cells or blood corpuscles. This blood corpuscles are of three type: RBC, that is red blood corpuscles also called as erythrocyte; WBC, that is white blood corpuscles also called as leukocyte; and the third one is the blood platelets, which is also known as thrombocyte. So all these things together are going to form the blood. The next one that we have is lymph. So lymph is nothing but it is actually the filtered blood which has certain components of the blood like plasma, but it will be devoid of the RBC, that is red blood corpuscles, and it will not have the blood platelets as well. So it is going to have the WBC, that is leukocyte, and it will have certain other immune cell. So this lymph is going to act as a middleman for exchange of substances between the blood and the body tissue. Also, it is going to provide the immunity to body. Apart from this, blood and lymph together are going to do the work of transportation of nutrients, gases, waste, and in this way it is a very important connective tissue.